Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our second episode of this brilliant, unique series of Soul Strings. I am Rohan Mehra, a part of this brilliant creative team. Really happy to be a part of this team. And I felt what better way to start today's session by actually telling you in a very small and crisp way what exactly Soul Strings means, what it means to me, what it would mean to you, and what it means to all of us. Well, I have this habit of trying to go into detail and trying to find out why this name would have come about. So I'm just going to stick to my bad habits, and I'm sure this will be helpful to all of us. To begin with, when I went through Soul Strings, the first word which struck my mind was soul, and I wanted to understand what soul are we speaking about. And that's when something came to my mind, and that for me has stood ground in terms of the meaning of our entity. The first one, the S stands for subtle. We are not out here to actually make a big sound, big noise, but we actually are presenting things which others don't want to speak about in a very subtle way. Second major aspect, which we've been stressing around on our group and all other places, is this is a positive, optimistic forum. We are looking at things very optimistically. We are looking at issues very optimistically because we all feel that that's the best way to look at them. U stands for unique. Frankly, I haven't seen such a platform earlier, right? And this kind of creativity can only come from our big boss out there, I guess all of us, and I will tell you about her a little later. And the fourth point, and perhaps the biggest, or I would say the heart of the soul, is listen. We all out here to listen to each other, listen to our thoughts, express ourselves. And when all SOUL strings together, I guess that's the best music for our ears. And that's what Soul String means to me. And I'm sure after attending today's session, and for those of you all who did attend the previous session and will attend sessions ahead, you'll completely agree with me that this is what it's all about. So before I start today's event, I feel it's right to introduce to you our next speaker, the speaker who's going to be starting the next session, just to give you a small glimpse, a small trailer, if I may call it for that matter, and then go on to what we've lined up for today. So the speaker for our next session is Dr. Padmakshi. He has 36 years of consulting neurodevelopment pediatrician experience, and he's going to speak to on a topic which is very close to his heart, and I'm sure will be very helpful to many, and that is nourishing special needs children. So to just give you a small glimpse, right, do we have Dr. Padmakshi with us? If he could just say something for 30 seconds. Doctor, if you could just give us a short glimpse of what people can look forward to in the session next Saturday. Over to you, Doctor.
Looking at the topic today, it's a very important topic. And then so sorry, because I'm in a kind of a place where they have another meeting, so I was not able to hear things properly. So now I'm tuning in. I'm looking forward to listen. And then, so this is a way I think you can bring about honest discussion, and to reflect, share ideas, and also this kind of, as you see, it's a vulnerability. You make people vulnerable and then touch the kind of point, and maybe we bring about and help people to solve the problems. I'm looking forward to listen and contribute, learn from this kind of discussion, so we can collectively learn and help each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Padmakshi.
Thank you.
Share a line or two in terms of what you are going to be sharing with us in the next session.
He will be speaking about nourishing special needs children. He already runs weekly classes for parents who have special needs children for years. So he has a lot of experience. I'm so looking forward to hearing him and sharing the ideas on this platform. Thank you so much, Dr. Padmakshi. In spite of being in a party and far away from home, you still managed to join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Menaca. I guess that's being you, right? you have the questions, you have the answers to all our questions always. Thank you. Okay. Now to introduce the host for today's session, somebody who is really going to try and get a lot of information from our special guest, who is a bundle of information herself. And that is somebody, I guess, again, I won't announce her name. I have a bad habit of not doing that, but I'll just quickly describe her, who she is. And if anybody disagrees, you can please let me know. So for me, the host for today's event, or host for today's episode, is somebody who's very meticulous, has a fine eye for detail, highly energetic. I've never seen her actually low on energy any hour of the day. Somebody who's really nice. I mean, a genuinely nice person. I guess that's one adjective which I can relate to her any time of the day. Somebody who's very attentive. Somebody who listen to you, listen to the issues, listen to your problems, and then give you some kind of a response. Overall, somebody who has a charismatic personality. That's the kind of personality you need to be a coach. And most importantly, I guess, otherwise this forum wouldn't have been the success that it is. Perhaps the most authentic, genuine person that we all know. So without further ado, over to you, Menaca. I guess we've spoken about you, and you can now speak about our beautiful guest today, Dr. Padmakshi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for those kind words, Rohan, as ever. Thank you, Dr. Padmakshi. So our next guest speaker is Dr. Padmakshi. I don't know about you. I can't wait to hear her wisdom and her sharing her learnings, because she is a psychologist and been working in the field for many, many years. In her words, she is nothing ventured, nothing gained. That's her motto. A doctor by profession and a philanthropist by passion, a clinical psychologist and a behavioral management specialist, an educationist with unique concept for students' overall development. She is a stress management specialist and personality development trainer, a wellness coach, mentor, global motivational speaker. She has been on many TV channels in Kannada and English, and in radio as well. 14 plus years of experience in the field of education and training for children, women as well corporates. Without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Padmakshi. To begin with, I came to know you not long ago through another dear friend of me. So what made you want to get into psychology? Psychology is a huge field, and I'm aware your husband is a psychiatrist as well. So all in the family, I guess. I'm so keen to know why psychology for you. Dr. Patmakshi, over to you.
Namaskara. This is our way of greeting the whole world across the globe. I will tell you the reasons to do this. Namaste to everybody. All of you watching, probably if you do this, even the more better. Namaste. And thank you so much, Dr. Menaca, for giving me such a wonderful platform. Stroll Strings, look at the title. I mean, it speaks volumes. I mean, that Rohan actually introduced the lady behind this, and no, she needs no introduction and all. Wow, I'm actually been a fan of you after knowing you. This is really, really fantastic. Thanks to Mamta to have given me, a connectivity with you. She's also a lady who's like really working, to change the world. You asked me a question, what it all runs in the family, what made me choose entering this field. The answer is I wanted to know myself. I just thought, I want to know myself. Why am I like this? Am I complex? Am I simple? I don't know. There was always this thought process that I want to know myself. That's when this whole journey began. And then once I married a psychiatrist, the urge was getting higher and higher. And on a lighter note, if I have to tell you, what do you say? My senior teacher told me, listen, Padma, if you don't study psychology, what happens? There's one more beautiful girl who's going to sit in your hospital, and your husband will be referring people to her. Do you really want this? So that women urge in me said, oh, come on, dude. Now I understood what I want. I want myself to be sitting next to my husband, taking care of patients. So probably that was on a lighter note, but still that's a reality. And this was the reason why I took up this subject. After coming in, I realized actually what the world is suffering from. And one more thing, I would sincerely appreciate this title, Soul Strings. We have never seen a stroll, but that gives us a lot of music. That is what my interpretation of your name. That itself gave me goosebumps when the first time I heard it. It's like soul strings. Wow, beautiful. When a desire to do something to people, connecting people across the globe with a lot of cultural backgrounds, and whatever it is, this is one language which needs no understanding. That's the language of smile. Probably you chose that as a concept and you started this, which I really need to appreciate you. People can see me in two places because for all practical purposes, what if the internet goes here or here? I don't know how it's going to working. So that way I joined in through my laptop and my mobile phone. This is my reason. I gave you two reasons for joining here and there. I gave you two reasons for joining psychology. I wanted to talk here today because after seeing Menaca doing work on the internet, I'm like, listen, I want to meet this lady. What is she, man? What is she made out of? Probably this is the platform which made me come here. Soul strings, which is really stirring in my brain. Like, yeah, come on, what's this? Let me also do something to the world. And I'm here. That's all. I've been very honest.
Thank you so much, Dr. Padmakshi. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you. And before I go further, I know you started with the namaskar. It won't be complete if I don't say the other languages as well. So, vanakkam, namaste, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And let's start it because I know there are people from multilingual background in this, and I speak Tamil as a mother tongue, so it won't be complete.
Let me make this very non-language oriented. Simple. I bow to you. That's it. This is not Indianized. Now it's become it's globalized. I bow to you and I'm happy with you. So let's all accept that. That's it.
Thank you so much. Okay. So today's subject is adolescence and addiction. And many of us here today are parents. And we all have either had children who are going through adolescence or gone through already or going to go through adolescence. Many of us, even if we don't have our own children, knows nieces, nephews, neighbors, friends, family who have children. So I think this is such an important subject to face. How would you define addiction? I'm really keen to know what is exactly addiction in your terms.
I'd like to tell it in simple way. Addiction is probably something which an individual cannot live without. Or probably we assume we cannot live without. Simple saying, it is not that whenever we hear this concept of addictions, everybody thinks, oh, addiction, it's a bad thing. No, it is definitely not a bad thing. We all have addictions, but it depends how it is affected my life. If I take heroin and I'm happy with that, I'm high on it, that's what I will justify saying, hey, I'm going high and I'm happy doing it. But what about the other thing? Everything we do, a kind of a habit is an addiction. So if we are used to drinking a cup of coffee, everybody smiles, oh, wow. Probably that is also addiction, your addiction to cocaine. And then somebody is, Mamta madam, namaskara. If for her, yoga will be an addiction because she cannot survive without it. So that's an addiction. For me, Dr. Menaca, doing something for the society is an addiction. She cannot survive without it. And probably Dr. Mamta. These are the three people I know here, and that's the reason I'm mentioning. And the others, I don't know your addiction. So don't please feel that this lady didn't mention about us. Everybody has an addiction. That is a habit which is been formed in our life. Something which gives me happiness. Everybody will give justification. I'm happy. I'm high on reading. I am high on drugs. I'm high on something. But as society, we say, no, this is not good because we perceive it wrong. That's it. Addiction is something which we cannot survive without, something which we have got physically attached to, something dependence which we cannot survive without. As a doctor, I'm sure without treating patients, you cannot feel happy. So down the lane, you've got addicted to it. You may call it profession. You can leave it any given point of time, but still you would have got so used to it and you cannot live without it. And also your living depends on that, but still you cannot imagine yourself without it. For me, anything which you cannot imagine yourself without surviving is simple addiction.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Padmakshi. I know you told about very good things about yoga, about social service, but on the other hand, we also have addictions which are not so good for us. For
Yes.
example, I call myself a chocoholic dentist. So,
For food,
I love my
super.
chocolates. So why do people get addicted to those things?
Before going to, you said you are so beautiful enough to tell I'm a chocoholic dentist. Oh, fantastic. There were other people, I'm sure. How many participants are there? 30. I want, okay, I've logged into 2 places, minus 28. And then you're also you've answered, so it is minus 127. 27 answers about their addictions. Your time starts now. Let's see what addiction is all about. So people start messaging. Let's see. The first one gets the fastest figure out. I want to know what are the addictions you have. It can be negative, positive, whatever it is. Your time starts now. I love coffee. Caffeine. Anna Ambika says I love coffee. Kishore Reddy says I like life. Caffeine. Fantastic. Good food. Rohan says good food. And by the way, Rohan, I would like to give you a compliment. The kind of beautiful talk you actually do says that you really have good food. Amazing. You speak amazing. Trust me. So Sujan Sen says hot and spicy food. Fantastic. Lovely. And everybody here are only trying to give good answers. Please don't do this. I'm addicted to shopping. Fantastic. Here comes the answer. Swati. Appreciate that. And then Dr. Mamta says singing, dancing, keeping in touch with friends. Oh, amazing. There's one more shopping by Rashmi. Sweetie says coffee, my cell phone. Yes, sweetie. Hi. I would love to see you. You are my types of people. Yes. Kalai Gani says shopping. Shanti says reading. Somebody says WhatsApp. Kalai Vani says WhatsApp. Kirubai says taking time for myself every day by praying. Fantastic. Rashmi says Insta. Wow. Wow. Oh my God. My job is done. I have nothing much to say. You guys know what it is.
Okay, so now we know what addictions people have, including myself. I put myself first. I really truly believe that there is strength in vulnerability. So I have put myself totally there. I'm an open book. Going further, what do you think are the reasons for these addictions? Can we have a glimpse of your ideas and scientific background? And as a psychologist, can you give us a vision why people get addicted to certain things?
I would like to categorize addiction, reasons for addictions in 6 ways. First one will be genetics or individual biology. These are the type of people who are prone to be addicted to many kind of things. Here I'm not mentioning it could be particular type of addiction. It can be anything. Now I'll come back. I was planning to talk about adolescent addictions. You already have so many addicts here in the room. Let's try to address them itself. So probably they'll go back and address the others. So they might be having family. The second reason is people with addictions have family history of addiction. Family history. Somebody in their family has a history, and then probably they're also getting used to it. Another reason for addictions in teenage, especially in adolescents, are peer pressure. The friend says, dude, come on, I'm taking this. Why don't you take it? You're not cool, man. You're not that. So they end up being, first, whatever it starts with curiosity, later it becomes an addiction. That's how generally it starts. So peer pressure is one of the major reasons. And sometimes they can be co-occurring with mental health conditions. There are so many people who would have got addicted to the regular medicines only, which they're taking as regular treatment as drugs. The drugs which they're taking as treatment itself, that could be the possible reasons for their addictions. And then sometimes people want to experiment with substances. Okay, somebody says, hey, this is what it did to my body. There is somebody else who say, hey, that is not going to do to me. Don't worry. I'll just want to see what it is. They just want to experiment. And that's the reason they want to use drugs and whatever. Questioning sometimes in practices, like somebody says, I have a headache, I want to take an anacin. Probably in India, it's called anacin. In other countries, it can be some other names, but that is a tablet which reduces pain. People are so used to taking medicine, even if they don't have any problem, they'll just take it and they'll feel, I'm fine. Sometimes addiction are also just because of the reason that we love few people. We are addicted to people too. That could be the reason. Okay. So that is one thing. And here we have to understand, I would like to concentrate on few things. We have to understand who is it adolescent and what are the young age people belong to who are getting addicted to? A lot of things. WHO says, addiction for teenagers. Teenagers are people who belong to teenagers or adolescents. Actually, we can be very, very clear, are people who range from the age of 10 to 19. 10 to 19. Very simple. 10. I'm showing you as fingers because I don't have PPTs to show. We just show as formality and people forget it. Come on, people, just do this 10. So this is the age which we can consider. They start from adolescents and then it goes till the age of 19. These are adolescents. WHO also says who are the young age people. Young age people, see, we all are young at heart. Let's keep that aside. But people from the age of 10 to 24. 10 to 24. These people are called young age people. This has been a definition by the WHO, which Dr. Padmakshi is actually giving it to you. So don't say it's me who gave this definitions. No, I actually wanted to tell my name once. So that is the reason I use this, so that I will be registering it in your brain. This is what happens when the reason is everything basically starts with curiosity. What is it? What it could be? But with the due course of time, if individuals who are very prone or very weak at thought process and all those things, slowly these are the things which gets developed in a form of habits and then later as a form of addictions. So these are the things which we all spoke about, addictions and about things which get into our body. We eat it in the form of medicine. Before it was a medicine, later after some other doses, it again became a drug, unwanted drugs. I would like to tell you something. I had a patient who had substance abuse. You will not be surprised. It was not one substance. He was addicted to 14 substances, not single substance. Getting one ganja or one heroin addiction itself is a difficult thing. This individual was addicted to 14 substances. And he says, come on, so what's the big deal? I am even ready to explore the next one. For me, he was a lesson. So if you don't get 13 things, I'll go to the 14th one. If you don't get 14th, I'll go to the 15th. So probably when my patients also teach me a lot of things this way. So it's not that you will be getting addicted to one single drug. You can get addicted to multiple drugs and multiple substances at the same time. So we should know this very, very clearly. Now we spoke about substance we eat. What about substances that doesn't enter our body, that which enter our brain system? Those addictions we actually need to speak about. That is something that small screen which is there in front of you, which all of us are actually looking at. That is the biggest addiction of the world. I would like to tell you that because these children want to post so many things on social media. I am happy. They want to post it on social media, it seems. Why? I don't understand. They don't want to tell a family, I'm sad. They want to tell it on social media, I'm happy. But that is the worst addictions of anything in the whole world. Because, and thanks to our COVID, everything is on social media today. Life on face-to-face has stopped. Now it's become more on Facebook. They want to tell the world, entry of a new member into my family. You have a look at that photograph, there'll be no human being. It's either a car or a dog or some mobile phone. So they don't even know what is humanity, what is human being, what is something entering our life. People have stopped loving human beings. They've started loving gadgets, and then they've stopped using gadgets, and they started loving gadgets. So it's basically the equation has got reversed. We had to love people and use gadgets. Today we are loving gadgets and using people. So the whole problem we are talking about adolescence and addictions and things like this, because there was a imbalance in this whole process. So now we spoke about internet addictions. What about TV addictions? You have to look at things at home. The grandmother is watching some serial. It will be repeating it for the 4th time. She says the grandchild, listen, watch this. Listen, read this. My point is, come on, what are we actually giving? Instead of treating your adolescents at home for addictions, first start treating yourselves for those. If you are ready to keep that phone from your hand and keep it aside for half an hour, it's then you can treat them. Otherwise, you have no rights to treat them because you are yourself addicted and unable to come out of it. So this is what I want to tell you. Adolescent addictions are becoming very dangerous because once you deprive of them, they only think the thought process which comes to them is they're already in depression and they think about suicides. The worst thing is, yes, Swati, lovely. There is Netflix and Amazon also is a new addiction. At least, okay, you'll be watching some movies. Fine, you're giving life to somebody. But still, we agree with you. So what about those things? I just 15 days ago, I dealt with a child. I want to actually share with you. I have no theories to give you. I have only stories to tell you. Because stories is what tells us the reality. Theory will tell you all, please Google it by yourself. Tell the theories of addiction. There are thousands of theories out there. I don't want those theories. I want you to see the reality of the world. A 14-year-old girl, they were on this internet because of online classes and all those things because of COVID. So it's her father who spoke to me 1 year ago saying, my family is the most yo-yo, it seems, exact word, yo-yo and in-trend family, because wherever we go, we are all connected to the internet. We have mobile phone, we have that, we have 4G, 10G, whatever G, I don't know, everything he has at home. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. But I actually saw the missing link there. Okay, there is 1G which is missing. Probably you'll come to me that day. We will talk about it. So this girl, his daughter, a very beautiful girl, innocent 14-year-old girl, 9th standard. This happened to be that she has fallen in love with somebody whom she has not even seen. She claims it love. She claims it love. You please need to understand. She says, I have fallen in love. She's sitting in front of me, a 14-year-old child, 9th standard, and she has met this fellow just 20 days ago. 20. 14 years the parents treated. She never said, I love you to them. And then she meets this some dash on internet and says, I fall in love with him. The worst thing is, the sad part is she has sent all her nude photographs to him, trusting him, saying he's my soulmate, that made bullshit, all that. Sorry for the language, but all these things have happened. And today she's in trouble. She's never seen that guy. The parents are trying to trace him. She says he's a classmate, he's that and this and all. After proper tracing, after proper checking, we realized he's a man of 33 years of age, double the age of the child, and he's trying to utilize it. And he's posted these pictures in social media, whichever he's collected from the girl, which is the most scariest thing. I tell everybody, it is not that you don't have internet in your house. It is that the network and connectivity between you people has lost. That is the reason you're trying to get internet from outside. Please be connected. The G which is missing in your house is that connectivity. Come on, connect with your people. And if at all your next question will be reasons why they are doing this, I assume that could be the question. See, we all have a void in our lives. We all have it. We all have it. It's normal to have it. In growing phase, in adolescents and teenagers, there is a lot of hormonal changes happening. I'm sure, Dr. Kanta madam, I heard you speaking the previous time. You spoke extremely well. I assume you are a pediatric doctor, so you will be knowing it better. I'm sure you'll be agreeing with me. I don't know that much knowledge about pediatric children because I deal with more of the ones after who cross that age. So much of hormonal imbalances in the body. So much. They want attention 24/7. 24/7. Just imagine, your husband doesn't give you attention for half an hour. First thing the wife says, where the hell are you? We are all grown-up people, but still we say that. So imagine these children, they have so much to speak, so many changes in the body, lot of hormonal imbalances, lot of emotional imbalances happening. They go tell it to their best friend. They are also facing the same thing. They're no expert about it. And then they don't even tell it to the parents. I'll tell you why. Either unavailability of the parent. The parent is so busy doing what I don't understand, that they're not reachable to the children, but they have the best network and connectivity in the house. They're not reachable to their own families. So I don't know what G entered the lives, but there is no connectivity. This happens, and whom will they go and tell? The teacher? The teacher says, oh, listen, don't talk all this. I'm busy. I don't know what they're busy with. And whom they should talk? They talk to the friends, the so-called best friend. What will the best friend say? Hey, that guy looked at you. That means he's in love with you. Rubbish. Where did they learn from? Movies. Somebody looks at somebody, already love. Who told them all this? Movies taught them. From where did they see? It is with the same parents, because the parents took them to such movies only and told them, listen, watch this. So never blame your child because it did a mistake. Blame yourself because that whole mistake was done by the child only because of you. So the next one, you want to treat the adolescent addictions, correct yourselves. That's very, very important. Before connectivity, the external world, connect internally with your family. Most of the children come from broken family backgrounds who have given us the history of drug addictions. So people, the husband is fighting, the wife is fighting. I ask all the husband and wife, when you make love, do it in the front of your children? No. When you fight, only in front of your children. Why do you do that? Otherwise, make love in front of them. Tell them you love too. It is just not that you fight. They say, how can we do that? Exactly. So the next time, don't fight in front of your children. So because you're only giving them wrong impression. Once you start giving them right impression, yes, my mommy and papa are together. That's when the bondage, the security actually happens. So, see, genetic problems we cannot treat. We don't know in this womb itself whether the child will be prone to disorders. So, but at least the upbringing can be definitely treated. Next time you complain about your child's addiction, keep your phone aside. That's one first thing. Next time you tell your child it is not reading, check yourself whether check your reading skills. Did you open a textbook or did you open a book and read? No. If I give anybody a book, they'll say, I want to read a book. Oh, everything is there on the Google. So the child also is going to say, if ask me a question, everything is on the Google. Come on, it is your own Xerox copies which you cannot tolerate. Just imagine, how can the other tolerate your own children? Simple as that. So stop complaining, start giving them everything they ask, not materialistically, emotionally. That's when you can stop addictions. The void has to be filled. If you don't fill it, somebody else will do it. That somebody else can be the wrong person in their lives. So something else will fill it. That something else can be these things called addictions to negativity. No child will go and choose a book about Gandhiji or written by somebody and read it, because that is not tasty. Everybody wants tasty stuff. Everybody wants spicy stuff. Everybody wants interesting stuff. Or definitely a Netflix movie, a Facebook, on Insta, and what all the list came will be more attractive than a beautiful textbook, than a beautiful book. A book is like black and white. Nobody gets attracted. So when you cannot read a book properly on time or whatever, never complain that your child is not a good reader. Simple as that. I mean,
Thank you, Dr. Padmakshi. I totally resonate with you. What you said, there's a void everybody has, and they try to fill it. I can relate to it myself, because I'm never ashamed to say it, that I went through difficulties with stress, with mental health issues, and I can tell you, at that point, you really have a void, and you try to fill that in with things, with coffee, with sugar, with, that was for me. I'm sure other people fill it in with other things like alcohol, smoking. So I just want to know the scientific background behind how people get addicted. I know that dopamine is a good thing. We all need dopamine to have a feel-good factor. I also know when there's dopamine gets beyond the level, like everything else, it creates problem. But I will leave that to the expert to explain how the mechanism or science behind addiction really plays out to be.
As you already mentioned, the answer is already told by you. So my only question is, yes, Kanta madam, I expected this, you will answer, but you said it's a good question. So you are the more expert to actually explain it to you. I will tell you. When any substance or even a work which we do, it stimulates the nerve ending in the brain. When the nerve ending, this is called two nerves joining. This is the ending of the brain in the nerves. These substances are produced there. Substances called feel-good hormones like dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine and serotonin, these are like proteins, amino acids which are needed for our body. Ma'am, am I right, Kanta madam?
Kanta is a garage. Dr. Bhunindan is the pediatrician, but that's okay. Carry on.
Yes, doctor. Yes,
It
please
doesn't
say.
matter. Just carry on.
Message
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
So this nerve endings, these chemicals are liberated.
Yes, yes, sir.
So example, for so many people, if they read a good book, this gets stimulated. For probably at a young age, if I can tell you, attraction of the opposite sex, probably we see a handsome boy or a lady, depending on the sex, they'll feel happy and smile. That is what they show it in movies. They all smile like this. Why? Because in this nerve endings, due to the stimulation, the chemicals are liberated. These are called feel-good, happy hormones.
Yeah.
When these people actually consume, it could be alcohol, cigar, drugs, whatever it is, these hormones are liberated in the brain because it stimulates the liberation. That's when they initially feel, wow, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling high and stuff like that. But later at higher doses, it definitely gets stimulated, but at higher doses, it keeps damaging the nerve cells. This stimulation is increasing, but that is not necessary. That's when they start damaging the nerve cells. Because everybody will feel happy. 160, 30, 90, depending on the requirement. I know what I'm actually mentioning too. It's the, whatever you can call it. You can call it the caffeine or the alcohol or whatever. Depends on your thought process. So this 60, 30, 90 will stimulate the production of these hormones, these chemicals in that particular part of the nerve endings. In the nerve endings. That's what these hormones will make an individual feel very happy and light. So a person will drink or even take some drugs or something like that. These hormones or these chemicals are increased in the brain. That's where they'll feel like, wow, light, I'm feeling like a bird and all that stuff. But they don't know, once they start feeling like a bird, they'll immediately fly away with the same things and probably come down again, but they'll not realize those things. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. Padmakshi. Thank you so much for that explanation.
Thank you. It is basically a stimulatory kind of a mechanism. It need not be a 30, 90, 60 of alcohol. It can be a good book too, or talking to your best friend too. Just imagine you're going to gossip with your best friend. You're more happier than anything in the world. So probably start doing those kind of things, than live a life of reality, than sitting behind a camera, phone or anything and something like that, and commenting or talk to your friend. That's all. Probably even dating is a kind of a thing which gives you a high. So you need to date the right person. That's all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patmakshi. Taking from whatever you said, it's really interesting how the dopamine and serotonin works. And, you know, when it is it's overly done, then it is a problem. So when do people know, or how will people know they have reached? Having an odd drink or having a chocolate or a caffeine or even speaking to someone or being on the social media is not a problem. So when people do beyond the limit, how will they know that is a trigger and they have to curtail it, or it's time for them to take a step back? What are the signs they should look out for?
Dr. Menaca and Dr. Mamta, looks like both of your brains work equally, similarly, and simultaneously too. Even she posted the same question, how to bring the addictions like drug smoking, cigarettes, and even the alcohol consumption in teenagers, which we see off late. So I really love your vibes. So answering both of you together, which makes it more easier. First and foremost thing, we give reasons for everything. A person who's an alcoholic, he says, today my wife delivered and I drank because of happiness. Or probably after 3 days, he says, my wife delivered and I have so many loans to take care. I have a lot of money to spend on her. That is the reason I'm drinking. So basically, when you start giving reasons for every addiction of yours and you're unable to stop it, that's when it is very important to give a time on that. Example, when addictions is simple. A husband comes back home and with the urge of talking to his wife and eating food, and she says, listen, I was busy on the social media posting about my recent updates about my social activity and I did not cook. Looks like that's the high time you realize that yes, you're addicted. Simple. So when you are consuming alcohol, first time you have a reason. My friend told me, you drink this, all your problems will go away. That's when actually your problems start. So please have right friends in life. That's also equally important. Somebody who says, listen, you have a problem, we both will sit and solve it, is what a right friend does. Not somebody who says, come on, you have ganja, you have heroin, you have cocaine, you have morphine, you have something, you have blah, blah, blah. There are people who even get addicted to chalk pieces. Yes, doctor, as you exactly said, dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It's an amine. That is what neuro working which does. So it involves the pleasure of learning and happiness and everything. That's why we call it feel good hormones or the happy hormones. So when the drive and the desire for happy hormones increases and leads to unhappiness, when exactly you need to understand that you are addicted. If you're unable to cut off your phone for more than half an hour, that's when the first sign. You're like constantly searching for something on social media. Zig, 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 zig. Yeah, I will tell it, Frank, sir. Definitely, I will tell it. And the next one, see, taking a selfie now probably going to be considered as one of the disorders next. More than 5 selfies per day is going to be considered as a disorder soon. So it is a great news to all those people who are sitting and watching. They're ready to bang me. Who the hell is this lady? Comes and says taking selfies also is a disorder. See, very simple. It's a self-obsession. You're constantly looking at myself like this and that and on. You leave all the work, you're only getting decked up to take selfies and post it on Insta, on some other grams, in this gram, Telegram, Instagram, WhatsApp. I don't know what all grams are there. You want to lose some grams to look very good to post these things on some grams. So that is when it is called addictions. And then your husband or the wife start complaining. There is relationship issues. Looks like you're not like before. You're not giving me the time. So it means you're addicted. You're married your phone. These are the regular sentences. You should have married the phone. Why the hell you married me? That means you're addicted. Simple. And then your children says, what the hell? You go sit with your phone itself. You're 24/7 on the phone. You don't even have time for me if child is complaining. Same thing with the mother too. The mother says, oh, listen, you're 24/7 on your social media and your teenager is not giving me time. What is this? As a mother, I did that, this to you, this, that to you, who and all. So that means your child is addicted. So basically, when the current internet goes, when the light goes, when everybody has this panic attack at home, how to survive? There is no current, there is no internet. That means everybody is addicted. Simple.
Thank you so much, Dr. Padmakshi. I have learned a lot from you, and I'm sure everybody else has learned as well. One last question before I let you off the hook, and I will hand it over to the participants to ask more questions. You have said all the pitfalls, the science behind it, and what problems can be created by addiction. My question to you is, how can we overcome it? It's never complete without having the answer how to overcome something or how to eliminate that problem from the society or from us. And I'm sure there are so many parents here. I'm sure we will all take this wisdom from you and try to implement everything in our daily lives. So over to you. Okay, Dr. Padmakshi, thank you so much for that. Okay, give me 5 tips what people can take away from today's talk. So I hope you all had a great time. For sure I did. I learned a lot, and I have a teenage daughter at home. I'm sure I'll be taking a lot of these, and to be honest, she's probably listening to it in the background. But children and adults alike, we like to have selective hearing, right? How many of you agree with me? I definitely have a selective hearing. I only hear what I want to hear, and I pretend or not hear at all what I don't want to hear, right? That's what we all do. So I think addiction for me, as I said before, when we have voids, what we do is we try to fill in different things, like from caffeine to chocolates to crisps to alcohol to smoking. So next time when you criticize someone for some kind of addiction, I think empathy is the word I would tell you. Please think why they are having that addiction and not criticize them, because by criticizing them and punishing them, I don't think it really works. So I would humbly request each and every one of you, next time when you see someone who is addicted to smoking, alcohol, sugar, or anything else, you just think, take a step back and think, what could be the reason? What can we do to extend that hand and help them to come out of it, rather than punishing them? Because by punishing them, you're only putting them off. Think of us. How difficult. I am always telling, I want to lose my weight, or I want to be in that target weight. Come on, girls, you know that, right? We want to fit into that one dress for the party. We want to fit into that glamorous dress for the occasion. We all do that, right? But how difficult is that for us to change? When it is so difficult for us to change ourselves, we expect other people to change so quickly. So next time, please take a moment and think, why are you criticizing something? Sometimes what we do is we project our insecurities, we project our emotions to others. when we are criticizing somebody else, perhaps if we look with a microscope deep inside us, we might have something to do with that as well. So always look inwards before we say something outwards. I think, I'm not sure, a wise person said, that is the safest way I can say, because I've forgotten who said that, you have been given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You listen more and speak less. So taking that on board, I would suggest, please think carefully before you point a finger at somebody else. Be empathetic, be considerate, show kindness and compassion. And that's what this platform is all about, to bring everybody together across the borders, across the communities, around the world, and spread positivity. We will be talking about different subjects like alcoholism and domestic violence. Even rape victims will be there on this platform, because I think any issue has to be spoken loud and clear. We have to have open conversations. We have to have heart-to-heart conversations for us to be able to solve any problems, be it be communities, be it be nations, be it be anywhere in the world. That's the only way we can find solutions together and spread kindness, compassion, and love to all of us. Before I hand over to you to ask questions, please keep posting the questions. If you want to be anonymous, you can post the question straight to Swati, and she will collect it and put it across to the speaker. And if you want to come on camera and ask yourselves, please feel free to do that as well. Whilst you are posting the questions and people are collecting the questions, I will hand it over to Mamta, Dr. Mamta Nagaraja, for her to be able to give the vote of thanks. She is from the same college where I did dentistry, and she has become a close friend over time. Over to you, Mamta.
Hi, everybody. Namaskara. Dr. Padmakshi, madam. It was a very wonderful, namaskara. It was a very wonderful, very interactive and very energetic session, I should say. In fact, you had addressed the need of especially the adolescents and the addictions. Like, of course, you have very well explained all kind of addictions, including the social media, Facebook, Insta, addicting to mobile as such, and addiction to smoking, alcohol, and all such things. And of course, one thing what I really liked in your explanation is, when you expect a change from others, to bring a change in others, you yourself should change, as a parent. And it was a beautiful tips on parenting. Definitely a lot of take-home points. And thank you for coming on to our Soul Strings platform globally. And various questions were very well answered. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you here on our platform. And I also would like to extend my thanks to Menaca ma'am, Rohan, and all the participants across the globe.
With this, officially our meeting is going to finish, but we are always going to join the after party, so you can hang on if you want, and you can ask questions from Dr. Padmakshi afterwards. We will be seeing you next week on Saturday, same time, same place. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and keep smiling.